Hi, I'm Matthew Jolly, and today I'll be talking about development within sports. So, the Sports Development Continuum is a model that represents sports performers' involvement in sport by what stage they're playing at. There are four levels that separate the ability of the performers within their sports, starting at the foundation being the bottom level, going through participation performance up to excellence, which is the elite athletes. So, within football, the first stage of playing football is where young people will learn the basic skills and rules of the game. This is just playing for fun, and there are many teams locally who offer this. An example being Pangsanger FC, who have under 7 to 11 many teams on Saturday morning. Non-competitive, where kids can just play for fun. Nationally, there are football camps or soccer schools who go around the country providing a playing surface, a playing platform for players to help them learn parts of the game that they might not with local clubs. Participation is where players will regularly participate in football. This could be playing competitively for a Sunday team or maybe even for their school tournaments. They'll play under qualified management to push them even further and develop them into better players. For example, the Mid Herts Royal Miners League. It's a Hertfordshire-based league where players can sign up for any team and play games throughout the season without being told they're not allowed to play due to the quality they are at. Nationally, there are school competitions where schools will play against schools from multiple counties, playing better teams from further and further away. Excellence. This is the top stage of football. Players perform for the best teams in the world, while also getting picked to represent their country in major tournaments like the World Cup. So you have the Premier League, for example, where the top players all play, earning a living off it. And many clubs have multiple levels to their development system. Locally, Luton Town have a centre of excellence where their top academy players will represent their club. This is the strengths and weaknesses and improvements for football in these three levels. Cricket, foundation, again, this is where players will learn how to bat and bowl and learn the basic rules of what they have to do when they're playing. They'll just take part in training type sessions throughout the year. This mainly be during the spring and summer, but the club might be able to get hold of indoor facilities for winter training. Locally, most clubs will give young kids the opportunity to get involved and play. For example, Wayland Garden City Cricket Club have a Sunday morning session for children throughout the season for them to get involved. Nationally, there are also half-time and summer camps during the season time across the country. Performance level. In cricket, this is where players will get chosen to play for county clubs like Surrey or Hampshire. They will be part of squads to play in their best format, all three if they are even good enough for that. Nationally, players like Sam Curran has made himself known to England by playing for Surrey in both T20 and first class format as an all-rounder in an attempt to force his way into the England squad, which he has and successfully done. Locally, young players might get picked to represent their county, working with high-level coaches to push them into the next level for scouts to pick them if they're good enough. The excellence level in cricket, this is simply playing for the country in either three of the four formats. These players attend the National Cricket Performance Centre, which is the home of England training, where they have access to high quality equipment to train for different types of games all around the world. Locally, many players may choose to retire but keep playing at a lower level. For example, Ray Shah, ex-pro cricketer, joined the Welling Garden City First 11 for a couple of years, so he could keep playing. Again, this is strengths, weaknesses and areas of improvement. Tennis, participation level. This is where teenagers and adults play against each other in competitions to win trophies for their tennis clubs, as well as prizes for themselves. Locally, teenagers might represent their school in district competitions. For example, in 2016, Monks Walk boys won the district competition, competing in doubles matches against many other schools. Nationwide, there are always tournaments run between schools, and also that individuals can enter to win prizes and make themselves more known throughout the tennis community and then up their rating. Performance level. In tennis, it can be hard to determine whether a player is at performance level or not. Here they will have top coaches guide them through their career and help them, but in terms of competing, this will vary. Locally, players can enter the National Performance Pathway, where they can enter events and improve their ranking, and the more they improve, the better quality events they'll get to. Nationally, there are many British major tournaments like the Nature Valley Open and Classic events, which run throughout June, where you will see some of the top tennis players try to force their way into the top world rankings and secure their place in elite events. The excellence level in tennis is quite easy to distinguish from the rest. This is by looking at the world rankings. The players at excellence level will not only show this through their seeding, they will also make it into international events like Wimbledon or the Australian Open through the format of buys. There are multiple major events that take place on a yearly basis, like Wimbledon and the ATP finals, both in London. These competitions are purely for the best players in the world to fight for glory and win trophies, to show they are some of the best. Again, this is the table to show the strengths, weaknesses and improvements. All three sports do have their similarities and differences in terms of sports development. As you go up the continuum, they start to differ more and more, but all pretty much start the same. They all have a well-run setup at foundation level for youngsters to get involved, and this allows them to enjoy the sport and then want to get more involved within it. These are some more comparisons. Young people. At foundation level, children will find it difficult to get involved due to a couple of factors. The first one will be social. This links to their parents' involvement with sport. So if their parents don't want them to get involved, for example, rugby, they won't get to, as their parents may not like it or think it's not safe. Another barrier would be economical, as maybe their parents can't afford the sign-up fees or the fees for kit and equipment. As children are so young, they cannot get jobs until they're older, so can't pay for themselves as much. At the excellence level, there are a few barriers usually associated with the excellence level for young people, but there are still a couple of things. First of all, due to their age, young children won't be able to fully develop any of their skills, so playing at the excellence level would be a stretch. Also, excellence level in sports is usually broadcast worldwide, but these children will be too young to be broadcast worldwide, as it might lack entertainment values. Women. In the participation level, this is similar to foundation barriers. The social barrier stops females from competing alongside men in a large variety of sports, described by the physical difference in some cases. This means girls must find girls teams in their area where there aren't always many around, and also aren't any for every age group. Cultural and religious reasons are also a large obstruction for women in sport. This means that they may not be able to play due to the religion they are part of, as there might be rules that say women can't play sports due to their strict following. They will forever keep to these rules. Performance level. The barriers affecting women's participation in sport are again historical. Women playing at a high level in sport used to be a nothing, and you would find it wouldn't happen anywhere. But as time progresses, it has become more popular to set up high level programs for women within their sport. However, due to the unpopularity of women's sport that are generally played by men, it is more likely you won't find many women's teams, especially outside the main sport in the country. Economically, both performance and excellence level have an economic barrier because there is lack of funding put into women's sports, especially football, for example. In the performance side, it's down to clubs not putting their own money into it, but at the excellence level, it's also down to the very small broadcasting and media coverage, which would bring in at least tens of millions of pounds for clubs for the men's teams, but the women's won't get this much. This is a organisation in an attempt to increase participation for females in sport. It's set up by Sport England, and they give women the opportunity to attend sessions and events for them to try new sports out. Solutions. working with associations and organisations to improve the amount of opportunities for women to get involved through school events as well as outside school. You could ask clubs to create more girls teams, or at least one per age group, as this will increase girls' involvement because they will feel more comfortable playing in their age group, instead of maybe playing 2 years above and being scared of facing bigger opponents. In this bigger scheme of things, I would also make women's football as similar to men's as I can, putting more games on TV, giving them the access to the club stadium as well, instead of playing at small grounds far from the main area of sport. For example, Arsenal play at Bournemouth, which is not easy to get to when most Arsenal fans live either North London or Central London. So putting games at the Emirates means that fans would find it easy to attend. Disability. At participation level, this is very similar to Foundation with social and economic barriers, but with the social barriers, it is at this point people with disabilities will be forced into finding a club to play for instead of playing with everyone else due to the requirements of these people. Lack of facilities at participation level for the tables is another reason on why it's a struggle for them to get involved. At excellence, in recent times the barriers in the way of disabled people have been overcome, and there are many more events taking place for these people to get involved and work their way towards the top. Living Sport Activity Alliance. This is an organisation made up of 8 different boards that cover all different disabilities to enhance the opportunity to improve of all sorts of disabilities. Solutions. A solution to disability in sport would be making more accessible facilities for the disabled, as this would then encourage them to get involved. On top of this, setting up more clubs in more areas would give disabled people a better chance to start participating without worrying about getting judged for them trying to get into a normal team. Thank you for watching my presentation.